What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. One of the other things I do online is each month I host and co-produce online conversations for fathers that are co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization, and Dove Men Care. And we like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Let me say that again. A magnet for miracles and a solution for someone's problem. And everybody, thank you so much for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to share some time with us, whether it's live on the replay. This is not a new friend we're bringing on the Dr. Vibe Show tonight. We got a, how can I say, a veteran in a good way jumping in on the Dr. Vibe Show tonight. And please, you know what? I'll read his intro first. I was going to bring him on, but I'm going to read his intro first. Galen Bingham is a founder and CEO of Kiln Gold Coaching and Consulting. He bakes permanent success in the client's work and life. Very good play on words. Kiln and bake. I like that. After earning a BS degree in business administration from Southern Nazarene University and an MBA degree from Rice University, he went on to an award-winning career with Imperial Sugar, Kraft Foods, and the Coca-Cola Company. Some names I think you probably recognize. While in ever pursuit of the Cover Corner office, he took an 18-month developmental role as an internal coach for the Coca-Cola Company. His passion, expertise, and ability, and his God-given talents to connect extended that assignment for 8 years. He's a World Coach Institute certified executive coach and member of the Goldman Emotional Intelligent Meta Coach cohort. Don't worry, we're going to get him to explain some of this. He hosts the Leadership Toolbox podcast and co-hosts the International Masterminds blog talk radio show. He has worked with more than 875 corporate executives. Let me repeat that. 875 corporate executives, CEOs, and nonprofit leaders across the United States, Canada, Mexico, and England. He's a member of the International Coaching Federation, 100 Life Design Coaching Network, Pair Coaching Network, National Speakers Association, and Global Speakers Federation. He's here with us tonight. He's going to be sharing with us about the need for self-development during these uncertain times and a whole other pile of stuff. So welcome, stranger. How you doing?
That was a long intro, man.
It's just the truth.
Yeah, hey man, it's always good to hang out with Dr. Vibe, man. I almost feel like this is my training, right? This is one of the first shows I was ever on that someone suggested they wanted to hear what I had to say was on the Dr. Vibe show. So this feels like coming home. Thank you.
Well, no problem. Pop. Well, first of all, family. How's family doing?
Family's doing well. Parents are getting older.
Yes.
And you know, all the responsibilities that come along with that. My daughter, who I actually made it 5 minutes into this discussion before talking about my daughter.
That's true.
But she is 18 years old and she's a senior in high school. And
wow.
I just biologically, I don't understand how that's even possible because I'm only 24. So
and holding. How
can she be 18? Right.
There you go. And you know what? A pop quiz for you. Do you remember when you first appeared on the Dr. Vibe show? I did some research today. Let's see if you're even somewhat close.
Somewhat close. I'm thinking, what, 2018?
No.
When? Oh my.
March 2016.
Oh my gosh. I need to
March 2, and I think the first time you were on was on Do You Know What Time It Is?
Do you know what
on Sunday evenings? So yes, I said let me throw that little question in and just see if we catch again. But yeah, so it's been a minute. And actually, he is one of the few people that have been on this platform that I've actually physically met, and that's even people from Canada. Galen's in like St. Louis. We have actually physically met a few years ago. So that's a rarity. So Galen's rare air. Galen's rare air, man. So it's all good.
It's like I crossed the United States Canadian border, and I've got to find Dr. Vibe.
Well, you can't do that now, but you did it when it was available, right?
Absolutely.
So, but much appreciated and looking forward to chopping up for a little bit, but also getting update on what's going on with you. And there's some exciting things that I just found out in the last 24 hours. Hopefully you'll get to share, and just all the things going on in Galen's world. But I know there may be some people who have not heard of you before. So give a little bit of short background about yourself.
Yeah, so 30-year veteran of corporate America, and really just kind of started out as an entry level sales rep for the largest company that I could get to respond to my resume, and that was Kraft Foods. So started out carrying the salesman bag and going into grocery stores, worked my way up, spent I think 5.5 years with Kraft Foods. And then after Kraft, in a variety of sales and sales leadership positions, I went over to the Coca-Cola company, was with them for almost 9 years, 9.5 years, more sales leadership. Everything was about trying to be senior vice president of sales of a major Fortune 500 company. Was with Coca-Cola, loved the company. I took a small hiatus to go to business school. So I went to Rice University, got my MBA. Right after graduating, I joined the Imperial Sugar Company as a general manager, a division general manager. I had 22% of the company's profitability and
Wow.
27% of their revenue. Publicly traded company, got exposed to a lot of different things, and I had one of my biggest producing performance years. I grew the business by 60%, and it was my worst leadership year. And so there was like a major learning for me there, that leadership is not just about delivering results. So I learned that the hard way. After 2 years, a little over 2 years, the Coca-Cola company asked me to come back to backfill for someone who had just gotten promoted to vice president of sales. And so I came in, backfilled him at the Coca-Cola company, started doing everything I could think of to make sure that I was going to be the next one to step into that vice president role. And I ended up earning induction into the company's President's Club. And as soon as I was inducted into the company's President's Club, they announced a restructure and explained that there was no place for me in the organization. I was like, but here's my award that you just gave me. And it was just a restructure. But they said, one of the things that they noticed was that I had a real passion for developing people, and I had some aptitude for developing people. They asked me to take on this newly created internal coaching role, where they were bringing people from the field who had done the job to help other people in the organization get better at doing what they were trying to do. It was only going to be an 18-month assignment. And then afterwards, they said I could come back out and do almost anything that I wanted at that point. I got into the role and just really fell in love with the impact that I was having. The fact that I was training entry-level salespeople as well as division presidents. And I just really, really fell in love with it, and extended my stay in that space from 18 months to 8.5 years. In the meantime, they sent me to 4 different countries to do that same kind of work. They started farming me out to their customers to do this kind of work for them on behalf of the Coca-Cola company. And like I said, just really enjoyed it. Ended up writing 2 leadership development books. And then about 2 years ago, they came back to me and they said, okay, we either need you to run a piece of business as a vice president, or, you need to, we didn't intend for you to stay here this long in this space, or there is another severance package for you. And at that point, I felt like I had found my calling, and thought leadership development just really did allow me to step into areas of greatness. So I took the package and been a full-time executive coach since then. And I'm not going to say I haven't looked back, because I have a couple of times, but I'm just really, really happy with the impact that I'm having on organizations, the people that I'm meeting, the executives that I'm helping to achieve goals that they thought were far outside of what was possible, that's the space I'm supposed to be in.
That's wonderful. There's some parts of that journey I didn't know about, and speaking about its 2 books, yeah, I got them. Yeah, I got them. Just to tell you folks, that's how much I believe and support Galen. And in one of them, I'm going to read you something. I'm going to read something from one of the books. It was written by someone you people may know, saying Galen Bingham is always an engaging panelist on the Toronto, Canada-based The Dr. Vibe Show. Now he's written a must-read. If you lead people, influence behavior, or have passions for making the world a better place, you can't afford to miss the delightful fable. It could be the start of your own very epic conversation. Hey, folks, I don't think you can see it because there you go. Yeah, put in the light. I got to see the light. There you go. The light doesn't show up, but that's me in here. All right. So I ain't a fraud. Okay. There you go. He ain't a fraud. I ain't a fraud. All right. So
Dr. Vibe is absolutely the real thing. So
all right. So this is real. I don't think I've asked you this for a while. I've maybe never asked you. When did leadership hit you, or did you hit leadership?
Oh, very question. Very good question. When I was doing the job, when I was leading a team, let me back up even further.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what? Even that, where did you get the feel to lead? Yeah. Like there's the leadership thing, but who or what influence even to put the toe into that pond?
Yeah, I think it came from childhood, right?
Okay.
From childhood, there was I'm the oldest of 3. I'm the oldest son, and I've got a brother and a sister. And I was always kind of the scout, right? I was always the one that go out there and do it first, figure out the right way to navigate whatever the situation is. And then when I got into high school, my dad, which was absolutely brilliant, he didn't ask if I thought I wanted to be in student leadership. He said, well, you are a junior in high school. I haven't seen you run for any kind of class president role. I haven't seen you run for any club officer role. When are you going to step into some sort of leadership responsibility?
Wow.
And he asked when, not if, but when. And I took that to mean, oh, well, yeah, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And so at that point, I started stepping into those roles, stepping into that level of responsibility at whatever realm that I was in, high school and in college and in grad school. It was just, that was expected of me, or at least that was the expectations that I placed on myself. So when I finally started working professionally, performing as a salesperson meant selling the stuff you were supposed to sell. But then when I became a manager, it dawned on me that it wasn't my responsibility to sell anymore. It was my responsibility to help my people get better at selling. And I consciously made that shift in how do I help my people get better at what they're trying to do, so that I don't have to come in and do it every time.
Nice.
Which was I think a key shift that I've seen a lot of managers miss that shift. They believe that it's their responsibility to deliver results, and it's not. It's not the manager's responsibility to deliver results. It's the manager's responsibility to create the environment so that their people can deliver results.
Nice.
And when I made that shift, really started studying, really started training myself, self-development on how do I get better as a manager and as a leader. And now I think leadership has me.
True. So. Absolutely. That's fantastic. One of the things I do on a regular basis, even if it's a small win, I go, yes. Yes. Can you look at the journey, and what would you say was the first major yes in your leadership journey?
Wow. The first major yes. I think one of the first major yeses, one of the first major accomplishments was when I had my first people leadership role in Michigan, in the United States, but in Michigan. And it was my job to recruit um, entry level people from college campuses. So I'm bringing them in absolutely totally green, get them ready, and then put them on an accelerated track to be promoted. It was my job to accelerate them so that the company could have a pool of candidates to pull from for the higher level sales roles. And I brought in 10 people, and I ended up promoting all 10 people
Wow.
to the next level in a matter of 18 months,
Whew.
which
Whew.
I was
Whew.
pretty excited about. The following year, I promoted 2 people skip level positions. So they didn't get the position immediately ahead of them. They got the position above that. And
I can relate to that because I went from grade 1 to grade 3. I never did grade 2.
yeah, yeah. So when that happened, and it happened twice in the same year, I started feeling really, really good and really, really excited about the kind of work that we were able to do as a team. And quite honestly, they were doing things that I couldn't have done, and by myself.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's phenomenal. Congratulations, by the way. That's like absolutely fantastic. And I guess we also say congratulations too, because I just found out in the last 24 hours you have a new role. Would you like to share that with our audience?
Yeah. So I've got a couple of different avenues and passions. All of it's around coaching, leadership development, that kind of thing. And I've just joined the BPI Group, which is a premier executive coaching firm who only works with Fortune 500 companies. So that is going to be an extension of actually stepping back into the kind of companies that I've worked with in the past, but now I get to show up as their coach as part of a dynamic organization that's very heavily resourced and doing a lot of really, really good work. So I'm just excited to be joining their team.
Congratulations on that accomplishment. Fantastic. I know that as I have a lady named Dr. Tachi, and she's more these days saying be more well, that company will be better to have you on board. So we're just being more to my good friend Dr. Tachi. Today you wanted to share a little bit about the need for self-development during these uncertain times. Would you want to elaborate with our audience on that a little bit?
Yeah, this is, obviously self-development is something that's really, really important and that I'm passionate about, and it's really important to me. But one of the things that people and organizations tend to do when times are tough, when revenues aren't flowing, and we're in the middle of a global pandemic, so revenues are not the same as what they typically are. The natural instinct is to pull back, is to contract. It's to only spend dollars on the things that you absolutely have to have in order to keep the revenues coming in. And training and development tends to be one of the first things cut. Uh, Second is innovation, research and development. Those things get cut. And I just really, I'm passionate about telling people that now is the time to do more training and development. Now is the time to take the responsibility of training and developing yourself. Reach out, find those areas to get better, because when the pandemic lifts, it's not going to be the world is not going to be exactly the way it was before. So if your training, if your skill set is exactly the way it was before, by definition, you're not going to be prepared. So now is the time to, take that course. It's a time to read that book. It's a time to get involved with that self development group, to develop yourself, to get ready for what's coming next. And I've seen so many people go the opposite direction.
Why do you feel that mindset of a number of companies not wanting to amplify or level up during this time? Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, I believe whenever you see people or organizations acting irrationally, it's usually driven by fear. And so there's a fear. right? Everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, I've got commitments to my shareholders, and I'm not going to be able to make my quarterly budgets or whatever the case might be. And they get afraid and they start looking for areas to cut. Because when you think about business, there's only two levers, right? You either drive revenue or you control costs. And if revenue is threatened, your instinct is to try to control the cost as much as possible. But I'm going to suggest that your people, that's not a cost, that's not an expense, although it shows up on the expense side of the ledger many times. It really should be considered an investment.
Yes.
And if you are not part of a company, if you're an entrepreneur, and I'm one of those too, right? I'm an entrepreneur too. But while revenues are not coming in, now is the time to beef up your investment in your skill set, so that when things come back closer to normal, you're prepared for where it's going and not trying to relive where it's been.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the things I'm sharing with people is there's when October, November, December, probably about 120 days, less than 120 days left in the year, right? And people say, oh, that's not a lot of time. But if you multiply that by 24 hours, that's a whole pile of hours. And I just try to show people, what is the main thing you want to get accomplished before the end of the year?
Yeah. I wouldn't even say by the end of the year. I would say if you just do one thing each day that moves you closer to your goal, you're going to be surprised at where you are in 30 days. And if you keep doing that, at the end of 3 months, when we're going to be staring at the end of the year, you're going to be amazed. But we often get hypnotized by thinking, well, I've got 120 days, right? If you've got 120 days, well, I can take a break today. I can take a vacation day tomorrow. Well, I don't actually have to do this thing in a week, right? I got time. But if you just commit to doing one significant thing each day that moves you closer to your goal, and then tomorrow do one more thing, and then on Thursday or Friday do one more thing, eventually you're going to find that you are staring at that goal that you thought was impossible 120 days ago.
Conversation point for you. 2020 has been a very interesting year.
To say the least.
Yes, and it ain't done yet, especially in your country. You got an election coming up, but that's another conversation, all right?
That's a whole nother.
Oh, exactly. That's a whole other conversation. I have a question. You coach individual clients, and also you communicate with companies.
Yeah.
Who is reacting better in general to 2020? Who is being on the offensive more, the individuals or the companies, in your opinion?
Wow. Amazing question. I think it's a matter of who has the resources, because resources gives you, very often resources will give you this false sense of security. So you tend to make longer range decisions. So I'm going to say companies seem to be, they're taking a longer view than individuals. Unless that individual is an entrepreneur, because we entrepreneurs, we react to almost everything. And so that's one of the things that we have to be careful of. And that's not overreacting, because, it's one thing when I'm making a decision and it's going to impact my budget. It might cost me to overrun my corporate budget. It's another thing when I'm making a decision that's going to impact my money. When it's my money that I'm pulling out of my checking account as an entrepreneur, that just feels different. That just feels different.
You got some skin in the game during that time.
Yeah, exactly. I got to make trade-off decisions on whether I buy my daughter this book that she needs for class, or do I invest in this thing that's going to help my business. Those are real conversations that I've got to have with myself. So I'm going to say that, companies seem to be responding better because they have a longer horizon than individuals do.
Okay. I'm going to throw this one at you also. I think that one of the key things for an entrepreneur, especially during this time, is to be curious. I want you to piggyback with me on that, and how important is especially curiosity during this time?
Yeah, this is I'd say that's probably the most important attribute, especially for entrepreneurs to have. But even intrapreneurs, people inside of companies, they need to have that. They need to embrace that attribute as well. But curiosity, all of the opportunity rests in the unknown, right? We're already doing everything that we know to do. So all the answers are going to come in that space that we currently don't know about. And you're not going to find it unless you're curious, unless you're asking why. Why have we done it this way all the time? I tell this story often, and here's another opportunity for me to talk about my daughter.
All right.
One of the things that I like about her education and the school that she goes to is most schools that I had been exposed to, their focus is on getting the right answer. Demonstrate that you can get the right answer. And her school has been, okay, show us you can get the right answer, but then tell me how you got it. Okay, that's great. Can you get it a different way? What's a different way of getting that answer? That's fantastic. Show me a third way to get to that exact same answer. And I relate that to business very easily, because very often we have our preferred ways, our go-to ways of accomplishing our goals. But if resources get constrained, if there's a global pandemic, if there's a brand new competitor and they know kind of how we operate, and those go-to strategies aren't available to us, we still have to get to the end result. Yeah. I mean, you still have to get there. I had a mentor once tell me, Galen, your job is to know what's driving your business and then deliver the plan anyway. Right. So that kind of thought process, I believe, only works if you're curious enough to try to figure out what's an alternative way to get to my end objective.
Yeah, as I always say, one of my mentors told me, don't let the opportunities define your objectives.
Absolutely. I see so many people doing that. I call that, I analogize that to the difference between riding on a raft and riding in a motorboat, right? If you're riding on a raft, there's a chance that you may get to where you want to go based upon the flow of the current. But man, I'd much rather be in a motorboat where I've got some power, I've got some control, I've got a better chance of getting specifically where I want to be. And I see so many people and companies just kind of drifting to where the economy may take them, to where the consumers may happen to go, and they're not taking control over the direction of their own destiny.
Nice. Well, I'm going to transition a bit because you are providing a number of different opportunities in the next little while for people to improve on their self-development. So I want to take some time for you to just share some of those with our audience. And one of them is the Collab Lab. So give us some background on the Collab Lab and an upcoming event that you're part of with them.
Yeah, the Collab Lab. This is actually an event that birthed itself. Because I've been part of the National Speakers Association for, I guess, about 4 or 5 years, and got involved with people such as Miss Ann McNeil, who's just a major influence. And they would do mastermind groups, and they would ask for leaders to lead the mastermind discussion for their individual groups. So we had this group of 200 people, and they broke them down into groups of 4, and they asked for leaders to step in and lead these teams of 4. So of course I raised my hand. I said, sure, I'll facilitate the conversation. And we started talking about the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and just really loved the chemistry of our small group. And so, like most good things, there was a point where it was time for the group to end, And we just enjoyed our chemistry so much that we just determined that there has to be something that we could do together. And we continued to meet for almost 6 months before we figured out what that something is. And we decided that it was just really around this energy of collaboration, teaching companies, teaching individuals the benefits of collaborating and true collaborating. We're not talking about the kind of collaboration where your manager has an idea of what they want to accomplish and they're just looking for you to tell them what color to put the flyer in, right? That's not real collaboration. We can see that coming. So in the group, we've got all members of the National Speakers Association, but we've got Sir Charles Carey. He is a bona fide keynote speaker. He's actually been on a couple of reality TV shows, The Keynote, where he's working with Del Toro, Neil, literally constructing keynotes before thousands of people. Like, he's the real thing. And so he's one of the members. We've also have Michelle Adams. Michelle Adams is a speaker, but she's got her foundation in the law field. So she's an attorney, and she came out of the law field. So she's got a different approach to every topic that we discuss, and just really, really mature perspective on any issue that we address. And then we've got Tamara McMillan, who is a professor. She's a college professor. So she's got a very academic approach, but she's got this fire. She's got this passion. We call her mic drop because the mic is just hot. When she's done, we understand, okay, it's done. It's over.
Yes.
And then to close out, we've got myself, and every conversation I have, there tends to be a leadership bent to it, or some sort of philosophical bent towards how to help people do things better. And we've come together to form the Collab Lab. We're going to have an event, our first live event that we've been planning for at least 9 months. We're going to have our first live event September the 26th. And I don't know who constructed this idea, but it's only $100 to get all 4 of us. So you're going to get all 4 of us.
Bargoon.
For $100. It's a virtual event. And again, you're just going to get all 4 of us doing what we do, just talking about collaboration, how to do that better, more effectively. And you fail. I'm going to borrow from one of my colleagues here, Mr. Eddie Turner Jr. He says that you fail to collaborate at your own peril.
Yep.
Right. In this industry, no one person has all the answers. It's going to take people with the wisdom and the ability to collaborate in order to get any worthwhile solutions. And we're gonna walk you through how to do that.
Well, I'm a strong proponent that whether you want to be a successful individual or a successful organization, 2 key things right now is data and collaboration.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how you get anywhere significant without those 2 pieces.
Exactly. Like, those 2 things are just key, especially now that they're so key. Actually, shout out from a gentleman you haven't heard from for a while. Mr. Ryan Singh says hello.
Oh my. Hey, what's going on?
And also earlier on we had Latatia Colbert Reed saying shout out. Latasha. So Latasha. So I see I don't want to butcher names, so I'm going to shut my mouth. So I'm just going to leave it as is. But say thanks both of you for your comments. Keep them coming, and BIA Media will make sure they get up in real time. Another little thing you're working on called Kiln Global. How did that start? Like, I know that was going on for a while, and I know you're going, okay, what's this guy not up to? Because I'm going to push back on him, because he always says I'm the hardest working man online, but I'm going to push back. You're the hardest working man, hardest working speaker. I know what's going on, so I'm pushing back on you right now. Killing Global. What's up about that?
Yeah, so Kill Global is an idea that was actually born in 2004. And let me explain. I was in business school and trying to get through all the stuff that they were throwing at us. And there was an article that talked about how they talked about kills, right? Pottery kills. And these are the things that hold up to 4,000 degrees of heat. And the job of the kiln is to hold the heat to allow people to either melt iron or to
Yep.
harden pottery. And they drew the analogy of saying that a manager's job, a leader's job, is to serve as a kiln for their people, to hold the heat so that their people can either do their best work or become who they're supposed to become. It's not the leader's job to actually do the work to sell the stuff, but it's to create the environment for their people to be amazing. And I always said to myself, wow, that would be a great name for a consulting firm or something. That's just an amazing analogy. And fast forward to 2018, I'm launching my own coaching business. And, I'm all about trying to inspire and encourage people. So Galen Bingham Inspires. And I'm starting to coach some clients under the name of Galen Bingham Inspires. And I just felt like something was missing, that I was not fulfilling the commitment to my clients that I was intending. So I summoned the gumption to create the name and the company Kill Global Coaching and Consulting. And it's my job to hold the heat. And I'll tell you, when I'm doing my job the right way, it does get kind of warm because it's my job to hold you accountable to who you say you're trying to be. And if I'm just inspiring and encouraging, that leads to a very fun and comfortable and encouraging conversation, but it doesn't help you get to who you're supposed to be. And so I created that company and used that name really as an encouragement to me of the commitment that I hold to my clients. And I had to make the decision that not every client who has my fee can go through the process. And so I literally created a filtering process to help me determine those clients that should go through Kill Global Coaching. And it follows the acronym or the acrostic for POISE. So the P stands for perspective. They've got to have enterprise level perspective, either as an entrepreneur or mid or senior level leader. But they've got to be concerned about the end-to-end process of whatever it is that they're working on. The O stands for outlook. They've got to have had some success. I don't want to just fix bad performance. They've had to have had some success, but they're looking to change the trajectory of their career. They're looking to take it in a different direction. I've had some people that have said, Galen, I'm on the path to being a senior vice president of sales, but I really want to, that's not what I want anymore. I want to open up a hamburger stand on the beach that generates $25,000 in revenue. How do I make that shift? And so they're wanting to change that trajectory. The I stands for integrity. And for me, integrity has a dual meaning because, if I say to Dr. Vibe, I'm going to meet you at Starbucks or at the coffee shop on Tuesday at 10:30, and then Tuesday comes 10:30, I'm not there. 11 o'clock, I'm not there. 11:30, I'm not there. Pretty quickly, it's pretty obvious that I'm out of integrity with you. But the same is true if I say I really want to get proficient at playing the guitar. And in order to play the guitar, I've got to practice 3 times a week for an hour each day. And week 1 goes by and I practice twice. Week 2 goes by and I only practice once. Week 3 goes by and I only practice for 15 minutes. Well, I'm equally out of integrity with myself. Mm-hmm. And as a coach, I can't make you do anything. So it's important to me that I have confidence that you have integrity not just with me, but you have integrity with yourself. And four stands for, or S stands for something greater. My clients have to be committed to something greater than just their own individual benefit, their own individual gain. Yeah, if you need to earn an extra $20,000 or $30,000 so that you can buy your boat, I can help you with that. I'm just not going to be as excited about that. I've got one person who is she is a PhD in African American studies, and her passion, her mission is to help African Americans fall in love with themselves again. Right. And so if I can help her be successful, I'm playing a role in this greater vision. And that's gotten me more excited than someone who's just trying to buy a boat. So something greater is important. And then the last is E for evaluate. They've got to be willing to evaluate the stories that we all tell ourselves, because 67 people tell themselves, people have 67,000 thoughts a day. And 80% of those thoughts are negative and self-critical. And then 90% of those thoughts are on repeat. So we're constantly telling ourselves stories, and many of them aren't true, and most of them don't serve us. And so they've got to be willing to really evaluate those stories if we're going to get to where they're saying that they're wanting to go. And that's usually when the kill gets kind of warm.
Yes. Yes, and just for everyone to know, I've been through one of those sessions with Galen, so he's speaking it. So first of all, with Galen, you got to be ready, because if you ain't ready, don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Big time.
I'll tell you though. I mean, it's very, very refreshing, and it's very exhilarating. I've got one client who is actually up in your neck of the woods, in Canada, and very successful technology CEO, doing amazing things, really knows a lot about that space. And I talked with him, and he said, hey, Galen, I've got people on my team helping me with the business part of it. I don't really need any advice or support in that area, but I've got this personal vision of helping 2 million people become financially literate.
Beautiful.
And I just don't know how to do it. And in 90 minutes, we got him to a point where he is now working towards that goal. He's tracking it. And I literally just sent him a text this morning, and I asked him how many people has he helped. And he told me, I've helped 1,957 people.
Wow.
Right. So he's moving towards this goal that previously he thought, oh, there's just no possible way.
Yeah. Look where he came from.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Look where he came from. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I had a similar experience recently with a gentleman who I was mentoring, coaching, and he said, he wanted to write a book, or he had this book that he had never started. And so the first question I asked him is, if you get this book completed, how would that change your life? And he gave all the explanation. Then about a month later, someone was visiting him that I know and he knows. And this lady came back to me saying, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. I go, what? This gentleman has pages of his book taped on his wall. So he's in the process. So I share with you that wonderful feeling when you get them from ground zero, and they begin to see and crystallize and feel their dream. It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
With the clients that you've dealt with, has your clientele changed any over the years? The things that they are challenged with, they're coming to help with you, like, have they changed, or is there some core challenges you have coming to you on a regular basis?
Yeah. The challenges always look different, but at the core they end up being very similar. And it really stems from what are their beliefs. And I really came to understand this more as I've gotten involved with the Goleman Emotional Intelligence Organization. Daniel Goleman is almost the father of emotional intelligence. and I've gotten involved with their organization, part of their coaching cohort as they're building that out, and just understanding how understanding how the brain works, understanding how we tell ourselves one of 12 different kinds of stories that limit our belief that success is even possible. And if you don't truly believe that your goals are possible, you're not going to put the same effort forward. And so that's what I do. I explain to my potential clients on the front end that my job is not to tell you what to do. I barely got my own life figured out, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you what to do. But my job is to help my clients articulate what it is that they want to do, because very often people can't articulate what they want. They just know they've got this sense that they want something different and they can't articulate it, and they believe that if you can't articulate it, then it must not be real. Well, the reason you can't articulate it is because the part of the brain that controls desire is not the same part of the brain that controls language. So that's why you can't connect the two. So part of my job is to help you articulate what it is that you want to do. And then the second part of my job is to help you figure out the best way for you to achieve your goal. And it is, again, not me telling you the best way, but to help you figure out, help you navigate your own thoughts. Because one of my core beliefs, and this has not been disproven yet, is that we all know what we need to do. I mean, usually we know. It's just often it's just so scary, so daunting that we lose courage in doing those things, right? I think I knew in 2004 that I needed to have a coaching company, and it needs to be called Kill Global. I think I knew that in 2004, but the audacity of being able to help senior executives, the audacity of being able to say that I can help them achieve their goals, that's a bit overwhelming. And so you cover that up with all these excuses and all these stories as to why you can't do it. And so my job is to help my clients navigate those internal conversations.
I want to add on to that with your clients. How important is it for you to help them get clarity? Because for me, like, yeah, we're in September now, but I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in words. And one of the most important words for myself in 2020, before everything went topsy-turvy, was clarity.
Absolutely. Yeah, clarity, that's the first part, right? That's the ability to articulate what it is that you want. So clarity, I mean, that's the first part of any business. That's the first part of any business leader. That's the first part and primary responsibility of every individual who wants to achieve something. Even in my book, the book that you endorsed, I suggest that there are three responsibilities, and three responsibilities only, of a leader. And the first responsibility is to paint a very clear picture of what winning looks like. If you don't have a very clear picture of what winning looks like, there is virtually no chance at achieving that on purpose. You might achieve it accidentally, but you can't achieve it on purpose if you don't have a clear vision of what winning looks like. The second priority would be to remove barriers that stand in the way of achieving that goal, whether those barriers be training, whether those barriers be relationships, whatever those barriers might be. That's the second priority. And then the third,
Galen, can I just interrupt you there? When you talk about barriers, how often is it self-inflicted barriers?
Most of the time. Most of the time. It's do you believe that it's even possible? Right? The words you mentioned, how important words are. The words that you use, really, really important. I mentioned the book Think and Grow Rich and the International Mastermind Association, founded by Ms. Ann McNeil. And one of my first interactions with her, I was talking to her and was telling her about things I was working on, and I think I said something like, "Boy, I'm having success that I don't even believe I deserve."
Oh
And
no! I know a little bit about Anne. I want to hear how she responded to that. I
oh my
want,
God.
and I don't even know. Maybe actually, can we just stop on that just for a second? Just spend about a minute and share with people who Anne McNeil
Oh,
is.
Anne McNeil is okay. So after my description, it's going to feel like this can't possibly be true. But Anne McNeil is the founder of the International Mastermind Association. She's also one of the first, actually, I think she was the first Black women construction general contractors in the state of Florida. Now she owns a multi-million-dollar, it might even be $1 billion construction company, MCO Constructions out of Florida. But she's founded national organization of Black construction women.
Yes.
She's just done so many things, but one of the things that she's proudest of is she has really put on display her passion for the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and she has inspired so many people to really embrace those 13 principles in that book. And she does it on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
She's so passionate about it. She's even gotten yours truly to wake up twice a week at 5 o'clock in the morning to
Yes.
discuss that
I hope
show.
is tomorrow one of those mornings.
Tomorrow's one of those mornings.
Okay. Well, okay. I'd be conscious of the time. Okay.
But yeah, so she's just really, really passionate about how you leverage your brain to achieve the goals that you are really destined to achieve. And one of the things she said to me that really snapped me into position really early on, because if you meet her, she's very nice, she's very unassuming, kind of a small, dainty. And, we were giving this verbal report out over the conference call. And I said, hey, look, things have really been going well. I'm having some success that I don't even know that I deserve. I'm just having. And she shut down the entire conference call. And she literally lit into me for a good 5-10 minutes about the importance of words and
Wow.
how your brain is constantly listening to the words that you say, and your subconscious does not know the difference between what's real and what sarcasm might be. It
Wow.
doesn't know the difference. It just starts acting on the words that you say. So you got to be really, really careful
Yes.
about what you say to yourself.
Absolutely.
And
Very, very,
yeah,
very, very, very foundational principle. Because I always say, when you say something, the first person hears it is yourself.
absolutely. And then it goes into that loop that I was talking about earlier, right? And it just goes on repeat. So that's another thing that uh, no charge, free of charge. I would encourage everyone to tune into the International Master Think and Grow Rich International
The
Mastermind
mastermind on
show.
Block Talk. Well, how can they? I guess if they go to Block Talk Radio, they can find it there.
Yeah, you can find it. You can find the audio on Blog Talk Radio. You can also join the International Masterminders Association on Facebook.
It's Facebook. Yeah,
got a
because Ryan Singh is saying, how do I connect with it? So
yeah.
Ryan, if you go to that, actually, I may be able to get it up on the screen in a few minutes, but definitely, I've checked out some of their Saturday morning broadcasts. It's not a waste of time. It's an investment. And I'm not just saying that because Galen's here and Anne's probably going to be watching this somewhere somehow, because I know Anne is lurking somewhere. If Galen's involved with something, and Anne will find out. But I'm
Better
just saying,
use the right words. Better use the right words.
exactly. She gonna find out. But and isn't it true that you had told me, and correct me if I'm wrong, she had some involvement with a certain famous,
Yeah, I mean,
world-class speaker?
well, a number of speakers, but she likes to say that she's a motivator to the motivator, because one of her mentees is Les Brown, right? And
Oh
just
my goodness.
so many other great speakers, even today. She's got stories about Simon T. Bailey, who's another really incredible speaker. But we all seem to be connected around not just our love for Anne McNeil, the person, but how she just continues to give and help people achieve their best selves. So I would encourage everyone to join that broadcast Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Central Time on Facebook Live. And you can join, there's like a Zoom link. You can join the Zoom and we get that to you, and you can actually be part of the conversation. But it's definitely worth your time. We've got people join us from France, from Dubai, from London, from all over the world.
Yeah, and the thing is, once you register for one, you'll get a weekly reminder of the upcoming conversations. So definitely, it's something to check up. And I'm glad that we got to get you to share for a bit about it. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the link across the lower bar of the platform in the next few moments. So, executive coaching. What has 2020 done, or what effect has 2020 done on or had on executive coaching, in your opinion, from where you sit?
Yeah, it's surprisingly, my executive coaching business has really taken off, and has really taken on more of a global or an international feel to it, because now all of the perceived barriers of space, because previously you thought in order to have an effective coaching relationship, I had to be literally sitting across the table from you, and there's some value to that. But because of everything that we've experienced in 2020, everyone's become more comfortable with virtual connection, virtual coaching. And so now I've worked with clients in Germany, I've worked with clients in India, I've worked with clients in Dubai, literally all over the world. And that is just not a barrier like it was anymore. One of the groups that I've been a part of is the EI Global, which is an organization. It's kind of a group of us coaches that are all kind of embracing this emotional intelligence piece. And we just executed a summit about a week and a half ago that was led by Kelly Manuel. Very, very nicely done, but it just shows the power of being able to do things virtually. Nowhere else could you hear from 12 different speakers, 12 different coaches, and have us all breathe life into your experience. And so just the virtualness of that, it also sparked an idea of mine, actually a passion of mine. I've always had this idea of hosting a leadership academy. And my dream, I guess about 2 years ago, is that it would be a physical place that people could come, and I would just
I remember this. Yes, I remember this. Yep.
I would just share everything that I've learned from my 30 years in corporate America, and just share all of the things that I've learned about leading. And it was just, again, just one of those ideas that I would just talk about. And then when we started doing all of these summits time and time again, I thought, now is the time. The time is now. And so on October 2nd, I'm going to be launching the Kill Global Leadership Academy. It's going to be a virtual event, and literally we're going to cover organizational culture. How do you create the kind of culture that your team or your organization would thrive in? How do you identify the culture that you have, and how do you turn it into what you need it to be? We're going to discuss teamwork. What are the elements of teamwork? How do you build team objectives? How do you identify roles? How do you communicate as a team? Really, really important. We're going to talk about what I call 5 simple questions. There are 5 simple questions that every leader, as well as anyone who's an individual contributor, not necessarily leading, but you're leading yourself. 5 simple questions that you should answer for yourself. And when you answer those questions, it will create what I call your leadership platform. And without a leadership platform, you're really hoping and wishing that your life will go in a certain direction, but you really don't have any control over it. Just as politicians have a political platform, every leader should have a leadership platform that says, this is what I stand for. This is where I'm going. These are the kinds of people that I'm going to be ever looking for because we're going in a similar direction. And this is how I'm going to show up. And we talk about that. We build that out. You're literally going to walk away with the beginnings of your leadership platform so that you can start leading. And you'll notice that when you have that platform, people will respond to you differently. It's almost magical. They're gonna sense that there's something different about you. You're walking with more purpose. And again, it's not going to be my job to tell you what your purpose is supposed to be. I barely got my own, but it's to help you. It's to help you navigate finding that for yourself. Whether you're a people leader or whether you are just leading only yourself. And then we're also going to talk about how do you embrace change? Because the one thing is for sure, whatever plan you create is not going to be exactly where you're going to end up. So, how do you embrace change to make sure that you're still pursuing your vision, although the environment might be totally different around you? Very, very important element of leadership, and we're going to do that in 6 weeks and actually get some stuff done.
When did you? This had been bubbling for a period of time. When did you realize now was the time? When did the iron strike for this opportunity?
I think it was after I had been asked to participate in my third summit. It's like 3 different summit coordinators asked me to be a part of it, and delivering great content. And the first one, I think I was one of 9. The second one, I was one of 12, and then again, I'm one of 4, and I'm delivering great content. So were my co-facilitators, and I thought, wow, this is just such rich education. This is just such rich development. Now is the time for me to do what I've been talking about doing for the past 3 or 4 years, which is one of my favorite coaching questions. I hate, and I use that word specifically, Ann McNeil. I hate when I hear people say, "This is a goal that I want to achieve someday."
I don't like that.
Because someday, when I hear someone say someday, what I'm actually hearing is, I don't really want to achieve this goal, but if I tell you that, you're going to get upset and you're going to grill me. So I'm just going to say someday so you'll get off my butt. Right. But we both know you're actually not going to do it. And so usually when I hear someday, I usually go into my tirade and tell them you either do it or you stop talking about it, but you can't do both. You can't not do it and then continue to talk about it. And after doing my third summit, I finally decided to take my own coaching and just do it and stop talking about it.
Well, congratulations, and I'm speaking that it will be a success.
Yeah, I am really excited about it. You in that one academy, you're going to get 30 years worth of leadership experience from me. You're going to get exactly what what I was tasked with training leaders of the Coca-Cola company to do. This is literally what I was telling them that they needed to do. This is literally what organizations have brought me in to teach their organizations how to do, their senior leaders what to do. Nonprofit organizations they've brought me in to deliver this information. And unless you're willing to pay for my airfare and my speaking fee, which I'm going to tell you is, I'm kind of proud of my ability to deliver a keynote. But the Leadership Academy is going to be your opportunity to get that for far less than what you could get me in person. And not only do you get to benefit the benefit of working with me, but we're going to build a community so that you're going to get the benefit of bouncing your ideas off of the cohort that's there. And this is just going to be amazing, almost religious experience, because so much of my heart and passion is involved in this.
Congratulations. That is absolutely Fantastic. And I know I have a thing, it's going to be the first of many.
You know, I have that same vision because what I've started doing is anytime a company would ask me to come and deliver a keynote for them or do a training for them, usually it's tailor made, it's custom, and so I take a piece of that and I'm putting it into the academy. And I'm even gonna go. I'm gonna tell you the Leadership Academy. The price of that is $14.97. So for just under $1,500, that's the price of it. And because I'm on the Dr. Vibe show,
I'm
on the Dr. Vibe
show,
I'm gonna offer this to anyone who sees this and is able to email me. You've got to email me.
Okay, let me get this. I'm gonna go get his email address right now. Keep on going, Galen. Keep on going. Keep on going.
Yeah.
Talk it out.
If you emailing me and saying, saw you on the Dr. Vibe show, would love to be involved in the Leadership Academy, I'm going to save you 10%, which is $150. Just because how much I really, really admire and appreciate what you're doing, Dr. Vibe.
Well, I'm humbled on that, and I thank you for putting that offer out there because it's an investment, and
it really is.
This is it right now. And I'm going to see if we can get Galen's email address, if we can get it scrolling along the bottom, or just put it up on the screen before we wind down. And we're going to start winding down now because him got to be up in a few hours because Miss Ann McNeil is calling.
Absolutely.
And I'm speaking it that one day we will have Ann McNeil on this platform.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. She is, she, you know, I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I have really become an apostle of hers to a certain degree is because she really strikes me as one of those people that if you don't take advantage of your time with her in a year, 2 years, 5 years, you're going to wish that you had. And I'm trying not to have any regrets. So,
well, I want to, and it's another conversation offline, but I'm trying to myself and another individual, we're trying to get into the Ann McNeil wheelhouse. Let's put it that way. We want to be part of that wheel, and definitely we're looking forward to it. So Galen, any final words you'd like to share with our audience? As usual, you hit it out of the park as usual. You know, and anything you'd like to just share with our audience before we call it an evening?
Yeah, you know, the one thing that I would really encourage everyone to do, and I've been fortunate to work for some pretty impressive, pretty important, pretty significant brands. And one of the things that I've learned is that it's really your responsibility to take responsibility for your own development. Your manager, your leader, the organization, if they're a good and responsible organization, they're going to provide resources for you, but you've got to take advantage of those resources. You've got to set your own vision. You literally have to create a vision of who you want to be in some period of time, and then start looking for avenues in order to achieve that. It doesn't necessarily have to be through your company. It can be through you getting your own coach, you taking your own courses, you finding like-minded people that are on that same journey, reading books in this area that you want to get better at. But if in 5 years you're not where you're wanting, where you believe you're supposed to be, it's not the company's fault. It's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility. And I'm just so excited to be part of such a community of thought leaders and coaches and people that are committed to helping individuals achieve their most important goals.
Wonderful. How can people get in touch with you? Well, the email scrolling along the bottom right there. So folks, that's the easy part. You just, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, it's Galen at galenbingham.com for those people who are going to listen to this via audio on the replay. But that's the best way to get a hold of him. He also, well, that in fact, that's probably is the best way.
Yeah.
That's the best way. Galen, I just want to piggyback on what you're just saying. I knew you when, and just not only the development I've seen in you, but the quality of individuals that you associate with is mind-blowing in a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, this thing called life is too complicated to do it on your own, man. You've gotta find smart people who will help you get to where you're trying to go, and that's what makes the journey exciting. That's what makes the journey fun, and I'm just happy to be involved with so many amazing folks.
Wonderful. Well, there it is. Catch him at Kiln Global Coaching. He's giving you the email address. He's giving you an offer. He's told you about the International Mastermind on Saturday mornings. I don't know what more. He's told you about his 6-week course. I don't know what else.
The
collab lab. Like, I mean, I feel like I should be the Galen Bingham town crier. Like back in the old English days, read out the daily Galen Bingham announcements. But the thing is, because he's working his passion. That's what it is. His gift is taking him. So join the wave, and he will help you get not where you need to go, where you want to go. It's a big difference. I'm Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, once a month, I host online conversations for fathers that are co-sponsored by Dove Men Care and Dad Central. Dad Central being Canada's national fatherhood organization. If you want to find out more information about me, the best place to go to is my website, which is VIBESHOW.com. And I just like to say thank you to some people who joined us live tonight. Thanks to Letitia, Ryan, Nicole. Thank you so much. And everyone else who watched this live or catches on the replay. If I didn't mention your name, it's because of my head, not my heart. As always, I like to close out my conversations with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. I'd like to say thank you as always to BIA Media for be more by making this production better and amplifying it. Thank you so much. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And remember to give yourself grace. Good night, everybody.